So the question is, going deeper into a relationship, how do you go about ensuring that the trauma from your past and your childhood doesn't get carried on into your future relationships with your children? And more importantly, how do you ensure that it doesn't stop you from having them in the first place?
Right.
Because the fear of what you might do to them as if it was hereditary and it passes on. Now this is something you were open with me beforehand and explain that your situation, and I'm going to do the same and meet you on that level. I also came from an abusive background, physical abuse, verbal abuse, emotional abuse, and more. And so I've experienced that myself. And one of the things that I'm incredibly proud of, and that anybody that has seen me with my 4 children would say, is that I'm a very good father. And the reason for this is I try very hard to never raise my voice. And in fact, the only times I've ever raised my voice on my children is when one of them endangers one of the others.
Yeah.
And it's almost the only thing that will get me to raise my voice. I've never physically struck them. I play with them. I have time for them. I do all the things that would never happen, that were never given to me.
Yeah.
And this is ultimately one of the biggest debates in psychology, which is nature versus nurture. Which one are we? And the reality is you are both. You absolutely have the nature inside you, and you probably know this already, to do aggressive, angry, spiteful things. But you also have the power to be kind, caring, considerate, and wonderful. It's a choice which one you use. And the best thing is, in your situation, your parents probably came from an abusive situation, who probably came from an abusive situation. And this is handed down and handed down and handed down. And the one thing you get to change right now is you get to change the nurture part.
Yeah.
You can choose that the line stops at you, that you take the abuse and you refuse to hand it forward.
Yeah.
And in doing so, what you give, not just your children, but your grandchildren and their children, a brand new future, because you were the one that decided to make that world better. One of the things I'm reminded of is there are these beautiful trees in Asia where they will train the tree to grow into a bridge from a very young age. And what they'll do is they'll braid the trees together on each side, and have you ever seen them? They
Yeah,
meet in the
they're
middle.
beautiful.
It's absolutely beautiful. What I love about it is they say, when these trees are being braided, they are making a gift for their grandchildren. A gift that they will never get to enjoy themselves because the bridge will never be strong enough for them to enjoy it. It is a gift for future generations to enjoy. And some of these trees have been around for thousands of years, these huge bridges. And I love that, and I think this is something very important for you to realize. It's not about whether you have the children. It's about whether you're willing to have the children and set the standard for your family for what the rules will be going forward.
Yeah.
So it is a challenge, it will be difficult, and there isn't a day that goes by where you won't doubt yourself or wonder if you're doing a good job, but it just comes down to having a set of rules and guidelines. Yeah. So in our relationship, we have a rule. There's no striking of the children. It just doesn't happen. There are punishments, and we're actually pretty strict compared to other parents, but there's no need to strike them.
Right.
We have other means of punishing. Removing candy is a good one. But yeah, there's other things you can do that are so much worse. And that we're really proud of, but we wrote those rules out as a couple. We knew this is what's going to happen, this is how we're going to handle it, and that's what makes the biggest difference.
That's nice. Really beautiful.
You got this.